Good evening, folks. How are you doing? So yeah, getting ready to do my second stream for the day. I had hinted earlier that I was going to do this, and then my day went a little different than I expected. Had just an absolutely great stream earlier, between meeting a couple other players who are really cool. Had some good people in chat. It was just a really fun session. Really enjoyed it. And so one of the people that I met was actually someone. Oh my gosh! All of a sudden, what is it with me going on stream and forgetting every name I've ever heard? Hit-bit, who's just a camp builder extraordinaire. Knows a lot of these sort of glitchy techniques, but I'll talk more about this throughout the stream. We had really gracious person, really nice, showed off 2 of his camps. Both of them brilliant 2 next level, 3 next level builds. Like, just really cool stuff. Inventive, very precisely constructed. And so, but it wasn't just the builds, it wasn't just the awesome person. It was also some information that he shared about the relationship between Bethesda and the camp builders, the people who like to do really, really different builds in the game. Really encouraging, actually. So this has been a really interesting couple of weeks in Fallout for me. Between having tried out now the low health build for quite a while, I mean, I will to my dying day complain about the fact that they put so many advantages in one specific angle on character design, right? But it is what it is, and I'm trying it out, and it's working okay. I don't like how they did it, but I'm using it, and it's good. Now there's this information about some of the glitching and that sort of thing that I've been really nervous about in terms of camp design, that there's some good news there too. So we'll talk about that. I think most of this session is just going to be low-key, just kind of chilling, going around, honestly, a lot like any of my streams. I'm going to be going around gathering some materials. If I get some people in chat and they want to do something in particular, that's great. We can, we'll consider that too. There are some tricks that I learned today for building, but I'm not ready to try them out yet. Like, I can't readily watch the videos here. And I don't want to start fiddling with stuff until I go and get a little bit more precise with the techniques. I will say that the build techniques that Hitbit and others use to accomplish some of these things, I never in a million years would have happened on my own. Kudos to the people who figured this stuff out, did it for the first time. You're just amazing. Your persistence and ingenuity, it's really cool. And it's not just one particular thing. I'm really looking forward to seeing how the techniques that were introduced can be used with different, there's sort of a basic geometry to some of them. I'm looking to see if I can experiment with some of that basic geometry and get it to do different things. Whole new world opened up. As soon as I learned some of the basic techniques, I think camp building is going to get a lot more interesting, a lot more fun. Okay, let's go ahead and head out of here. Yeah, so this spot in my current camp right now is actually where I met Hitbit. And it's worth knowing. I normally don't clip stuff. There were a couple things in there that I'm probably going to clip, and I will make available separately just because they were kind of funny. It's like, I went out and I saw Hitbit's name on the screen. I'm like, hey, that's you. And I'm going out, and this vengeful Mothman drops down out of nowhere in front of me in the cave. So now I'm running. I'm like trying to bolt past the Mothman out of the cave. So there's Hitbit waiting there patiently, and I turn around and have to fight off the mouth. And I thought it was funny. There's one thing I want to do really quick, though, and that is there was someone who was kind of tagging along. They were very quiet. They weren't on mic ever. And I was really worried I was going to bore the crud out of this poor person, but they followed along and were helping me fight stuff. They were really, really cool. And so I've been really bad about this side of things. I want to get better about it. No short-term memory while I'm chatting here. Let's see. Let's see. There we go. cool. And we'll see what happens with that. Maybe something will happen, maybe not. That's okay. If I ever, and I don't, but if I ever doubted I was an introvert, today was the sort of day to demonstrate that, yes, I am, with no doubt, with full certainty, a hardcore introvert. I had a lot of fun hanging out with these folks. Nice folks, all of them. I was so stressed out and tired by the time I got done. So there's the thing. There was someone in chat I was talking to who I also hope that I'm going to run into again, because they seemed like they were, so they're new to 76, but it sounds like they've done a whole lot of stuff with mods in Fallout 4. Camp builds, except they weren't camps there, right? They were settlements. And so I'm looking forward to being able to share some stuff. I've got to get a Discord set up. There's a lot of work to be done. But yeah, like I said, I hope I see them again. But positive as it all was, yeah, I'm really fascinated by people who are, instead of like me, being absolutely drained like a shorted battery by social stuff, who actually derive a lot of energy from that. It's just not how I'm wired. And you gotta understand, like I said, it was a positive thing. It was good. I had a really fun time. But that's why I didn't hop on the stream earlier. I actually, after that, whoops, am I not wearing my... Oh, I guess I'm not. I'm not wearing my stuff. Did I get dressed? But yeah, after that, fun as it was, I crashed. I went and I watched some videos. Hitbit has some tours of his various camps that, if you look up hit-bit Fallout 76 on YouTube, you'll find his channel. And there's some great stuff in there. And he has a tutorial on there that is outstanding for how to do the circle floor builds, where you merge the foundation pieces together to make a sort of a big, not like a perfect circle, of course, not like a smooth one, but like a big sort of an octagon. Is it an octagon, or I think there are more sides? What would that be? I'm not going to think about it right now. Dodecahedron, or I don't know. That's a 3D shape, right? I don't know what it's called. But anyway, he has a really good tutorial on it. Go check it out. So I ended up watching a bunch of that stuff, and then was like, cool, now I'm going to, and just conked. Like, don't get me wrong, I had the best nap I've had in a long time, where I didn't wake up feeling trashed and overheated and all that. Like, it's been a rainy day here, so I passed out on the couch with it raining in the background, and the room was kind of dark, and the perfect temperature, just a little cool, and I just slept. I slept better than I have, I think, for I don't know how long. It was nice. Oh, I wish I could get that kind of sleep more often. But that's the other thing. Like, I mentioned this on the other stream today. I was up till about 5 in the morning local time, talking to another streamer who goes by the name of Warrior Corp, Warrior_CORP. I never know whether that's going to be pronounced Corp or Core, but you decide. That's how you spell it. And I was chatting with people on his stream and having a really good time. I saw that he actually, I think he went live, an hour or so ago, somewhere around there. So, yeah, if he's still streaming by the time I'm done, because I don't know how long I'm actually going to stream here, I might go hop over there and say hi. I don't get a lot of people on the stream, but I kind of wish I did, because it'd be fun to actually do my first raid. But anyway, we'll see. Okay, get dressed. That's the goal. And actually, we're not going to wear that getup. We're not going to wear all this. We're going to wear the Enclave officer uniform. I thought I had my cowboy hat. I guess I'll have to get that back out. How do I look so far? That's actually good enough. I don't need the hat. We're just going to go around like that. We're going to be a little bit more like formal here. And I'm in desperate need of water, and for food, we're going to have some brain bombs. I'm not going to eat all of the hound meat and stuff. No, we're not doing that. And there was something else I needed to get out of my stash. What was that? Oh dear. Don't remember. Skulder joined the team. Welcome. I should go wave in a minute. Spoiled fruit we can get rid of. Spoiled meat. Tons of spoiled vegetables. That's all the brain fungus I was carrying around, I think. Oh, that's right. And I bought some cheap adrenal serum and egghead serum, which I could take, but I'm not gonna. I'm gonna go sell those. Sell one of them at least. Profit. I think that's it. I really don't remember anything else. Can't drop that here. Baseball bat chain wrap mod. No, thank you. Some cannonballs. So I've got some stuff I've got to do downstairs too. Let's go get cleaned up a little bit. And finish getting dressed. Oh yeah, which backpack? That was one of the things. I actually have a bunch of different ones. They're light enough you could carry them around, but I don't like how they clutter up the inventory. So let's see. We'll get rid of that one. And what do they... Chemist Redshift? Chemist Mr. Demonic? Chemist Corveda. That's the one. Put that on. Put that on. Now we're talking. So, yeah, Hitbit. The way I first heard about Hitbit was actually through my wife, who is actually a social human being and spends more time on Reddit actually talking to other human beings, as opposed to me, who goes on there and goes, mumbles and wanders off. And she saw a build he did of a sort of a pop-up book. I can't describe it any more than that. You kind of have to see it for yourself. But it is just that. It is a camp built as a giant 3D pop-up book of Alice in Wonderland. If you haven't seen it, go check out the channel on YouTube. It's pretty amazing. And so she saw this online, and she plays on PlayStation. He plays on PC. And she was saying, oh yeah, you know, like just what I just said, you know, I'm on PlayStation, so I can't come visit, but my husband might reach out to you. And he was open to the idea. So yeah, I reached out, and then he showed up today. It was pretty cool. I'm just the act of describing what happened earlier today. I keep losing my place as to what I'm doing. I think I'm still a little sleep deprived, honestly. We're going to ammo, and we're going to drop the stuff we don't want. Just say it out loud. It'll all be fine. I think I'm going to make some more fuel. Let me see what fuel takes in terms of actually making it. See if it'll be worth it. I'm trying to load the machine more often now with ammo that people seem to like, just so that there's a nice, healthy-sized batch of it waiting for them when they show up. Where is fuel, actually? Energy ammo? Fuel. There it is. We've got acid, oil, and steel. Oil's a tough one. Let me see what I got in the machine right now, and then we'll decide. So first thing, check fuel. 93. Yeah, unfortunately, I think I'm just going to leave that where it is right now. I didn't realize, I should have realized that it would use oil. Oil is, as you can probably expect, it's one of those resources that's pretty hard to come by. And there are a couple of those that are just killing me right now. I'm having trouble staying in ammo. Like, that's not very many grenades, but I currently can't make any more because I'm out of springs. So that's one of the things I have to do. Is there are a couple places I know where I can go and find some, but I will also probably go set up one or two junk harvesters and hope that I get some in there. Maybe that's what I'll use my final camp slot for. We'll do another, like I won't do a full camp build, I'll just do a little shack that has some of the basic stuff and call it good. Alright, those we're leaving where they are. Those I need. A little bit more fuel. So one thing I have to note about talking to Hitbit, I was so excited to see him that I kind of dropped an important courtesy, and I have to go reach out to him and say, "Hey, my apologies." That courtesy was letting him know I was streaming while we were talking. I didn't even think about it. Like, I totally forgot my mic was on at one point, and like live, like I was yelling at my kids to go find my wife, Teal. I used her real name, which she heard about later. Was like, "What are you doing?" Um, so it was an accident. But I'm probably going to take the view on demands down until I get his approval for posting them. Because like he doesn't, watching his videos are all really really good, well produced. But he also doesn't talk a lot in the videos, and I don't want to, it's just a courtesy and respect sort of a thing. So. Okay. We did that. We got rid of all the meat that I was carrying around. Just got a little steel scrap. Let's go ahead and use that plan. I guess I'll put the other ones in here now. Why not? In here. We'll do it. Notes. Another military cot. I think I found a couple of those recently. Supposedly I know the plan. I don't remember ever seeing it. And a portable toilet. Anything else? I don't think so. Gotta drop that supply requisition. I have not done one of those for I don't know how long. The idea being you take one of those holotapes, you go to a certain, like the spots that have the antenna towers, and you play the holotape, and then you go and pick up some supplies somewhere. It's not all that fun. The supplies are not all that good. It's not really worth it in my book. Okay, so we're good there. Well, I think just go after springs, right? Yeah, the only other thing I've got in terms of challenges is just leveling up, and that may not happen until tomorrow, so I'll be kind of free of that for right now. Anything else I can think of? I think we're okay. Actually, one other thing. I do have some meat that I need to cook, and I'll go sell that really quick, and then we'll start just wandering around and chatting about the build techniques and what to do with them and how all that works.
When's the next superhero meeting? I'll bring the snacks.
It'd be kind of nice, actually, given that streaming is so prevalent these days. It doesn't take a lot to get into it. It would be really cool if they made a way to mark yourself as streaming. It's not just a feature like a convenience thing. It would actually be a good sort of, again, it's like a courtesy feature. So that if other people see you and they know you're streaming, maybe they can avoid you, or they can stay off mic if they want to. A lot of people stream this game. I'm not sure how common it is to advertise that, hey, just so you know. Let's go say hi to Stalder, too. Just so you know, other people can hear you. I'm like, Stalder's not a level 1 person, I guarantee. Guarantee it. Whoop. Dodge here and there as the camp appears. Just say, not that one. Just say, hello. That is a high level person. High level as that is, though, I've seen much, much higher level. Did they just disappear? Is their camp about to vanish? They may have just fast traveled out somewhere. That's kind of fun. I like how they use the Nuka-Cola light in there. Nice. Hibbit was talking about the symptomatic trick today. I tried this recently, and it didn't work for me because I didn't do it right. A lot of people will use those to create ways to get like underground. Where you step, you will only see the very top of the symptomatic poking out. That's interesting. And if you go inside, it puts you down inside and it does its little animation. And then when you step out, you're going to be underground, wherever it was positioned. Am I being blind to the vendor again? The vending machine or cash register or whatever it is? Lately there have been, this is like the third camp today where I feel like I'm not just drinking random stuff out of a punch bowl sitting out there. Are you kidding? Anyway, I'm having a heck of a time actually finding people's vending machines. They're advertised on the icon. They have the little, little green circle on there. But I can't find them. Where are they? That way. We'll just follow the... They're not in there. Oh. Let's go see their missile silo. See what they did with it. It's a lot of space. I honestly haven't seen very many of them. Oh, maybe it's a little sort of a test thing they've set up. I don't know. Or I've got at least one that it's, if you want to set up a shack, where, like I'm probably going to do later tonight, where you just want to collect a resource, you can use your shelter as a portable, like, bedroom, resource room, crafting room, so that way you don't have to rebuild it over and over and over again. But anyway, yeah, so Hitbit was talking about how to do the symptomatic trick. Now, the way I tried it that did not work was... And up there. Are you a vending machine? No. There we go. Just follow the signs, folks. Huh. Okay. What have we got? Nope. Why is it that people... I've never looked this up. I'm very curious. Lots of people sell the "you've been insulted" things for lots and lots and lots and lots of caps. And I have no idea why. No idea what that's about. Okay. Not there. I never actually did cook the stuff I was talking about, did I? I'm getting so distracted. Let's see if I can find a stove here. Pretty sure I saw one somewhere. That's not a stove. Yeah. Ammo converter wouldn't be a bad idea. Oh, funny. Not what I expected. Stove? Ah. Oh, funny. Marked a pharma fridge. Didn't know they did that. Arctos Pharma? Whatever that is, something like that. Cool. Continue on. Sell some things. Then look up a spot. Now I've got to earn more than 18 taps there. But I mean, then we'll look up a spot where there's a junk vein, a junk pile, I guess, to harvest some junk. I can also set up a couple harvesters at different workshops, but I don't know how many resources that takes. Like, there's going to be a point where it's just not worth it. Probably you approach that pretty quick, I imagine. And which one am I sharing? Don't want to change out the one I'm sharing with the other folks on the team.
And other supply available here.
Okay, given how few they have left, I should say. We'll do that. How much are these? 24, sure. 30 left. What else? Close enough, huh? All that good? Okay. Yeah, let's go do the just gathering up springs from the few places where I know they're just lying around. Let's see if there's anywhere down here I can use as a I'll just use Stalder's Camp again. So I hinted earlier that there was some good news around the whole idea of glitching in builds. Maybe I should start by saying that I haven't used glitching at all because I had before today only heard a few specific whether they were even like stories or just rumors. I think stories. I think it was specific people saying why they didn't want to use glitching anymore. And it was because occasionally, and I've probably said this a half a dozen times or more on the stream, that I'm worried about Bethesda actually fixing the bugs. Crazy as that sounds, haha, right? No, that's the other thing I probably need to change a little bit. Like, I'm a developer, and maybe that's why I get so frustrated. Doesn't really do any good to just sit here and gripe about the development team. So anyway, so in talking to Hitbit, he was talking about how at one point they did fix a particular bug that allowed a certain glitch, and there was, no surprise, a huge uproar from the more hardcore builders in the community. And to their credit, within, I think, about a week, he was saying, Bethesda actually reintroduced the bug so that people could get back to using the glitch again. Which I thought was pretty cool. And from what he said, it sounded like they have people who are in pretty regular contact with Bethesda, asking for certain features and whatnot. And he said, of course, they can't or won't do everything, which you wouldn't expect they would. But he did suggest, based on his experience, and he's clearly been deep in the camp building group, I guess, community, for quite a while. That's really encouraging to me. You know, it's the way he reasoned it. He's like, these are all things, the things that we're asking them for are things that should just be in the game anyway. Which makes a lot of sense. And if they should be in the game anyway, well, and people have figured out ways to get there, to work around the game's limitations, leave them alone. Let them do their thing, you know? So yeah, like any of these spots, you can't visit this place every day, but if you let it go for a couple days so the things reaccumulate, you can find quite a bit of good stuff here. Springs, oil, gears, lots of fishing rods lying around. So, yeah. Am I hearing... Whenever I'm talking on here, I usually leave one earphone off, because otherwise it does that speech jammer thing where I can't quite talk. I was making it so I couldn't tell if I was hearing some NPC in the game or if someone in power armor had just showed up. Don't think there are any more up there. There's odds and ends of stuff up there. I'm just going to leave it. Gonna focus on just a few things. Nope, don't want the dog food. Thank you.
They love to swim, would you believe it?
Come on. Alright, think we're good here.
Stay out of my way.
Well, if someone gets a bigger cut than you, something's up. So watch your back.
All good. Let's go back and see. So aluminum is getting low again, unfortunately. Maybe I'll just see if I can buy some. Got plenty of caps now. I'm not saving them up for anything in particular, except for the mirror ball plan from Grom, and I have no idea when I'm going to meet him. And what I heard from some reverse engineering that someone did, apparently there's only a 10% chance that he'll actually be carrying that. So this is a ridiculously long haul for a little, like, little sort of a vanity item. I don't know what to call it. I've got plenty of adhesive, loose screws, springs, 29. Yeesh. Yeah, we gotta try to get more. And let's just avoid the Mirelurk. Save the ammo if we can. Hey, we got a full team. Nice. Okay, let me take a quick look. And see where we might be able to find a good spot that has a junk pile. But anyway, yeah, I'm not sure if I really brought the point home, but the idea that Bethesda seems pretty directly committed to maintaining the, I guess, shall we call them, unconventional build features in the game is good news. Assuming they don't just suddenly go back on that. I don't know why they would. I hope they don't. But it gives me more confidence, at least, that it's something worth investing some time and effort into. Last thing I wanted before was to invest all that time and effort to make something I really liked, just to have them pull the rug out from under it, which, honestly, has happened a lot of times. Anyway. Oh, just right of the Mothman Museum and south of the Highway 65 symbol. Let's look for that. So one of them is apparently over this way. Whoops. Stop that. My phone's being argumentative. Oh, come on. Reddit? Really? That's asinine. I'm not going to say why. Pardon my French. There's so much bad software out there. Don't get me going on that. That's a whole nother thing. This is on the 88 road. This 59. Over here, apparently. Oh, that might be a nice spot. Let's go check that out. I kind of like that area of the woods. I haven't been over there in a long time. There's no lead or anything, so I never just voluntarily go over there. I heard somewhere that they actually added some locations to the map. Like, I probably have some undiscovered areas. Let's see where I am. So maybe somewhere around here. Let's just start looking. But the way I use the game now, I would never find them. Like, even if they did add something, I would never know about it. Fast travel everywhere. Oh. Oh, is someone already using this one? I thought I could hear that sort of... There's a sound that the harvesters make. I thought I heard it over here, but not seeing it. Could be just me being blind. Whoops, stop it. Yeah, my mouse wheel's getting super touchy. Rather, it got super touchy and then it kind of stopped. Like, it stopped progressing, getting any worse. So, I was a little worried there for a little bit. I'd have to replace my mouse. Not too long after buying it. Yeah, that's going to be the downside to living over here. People turning on the sound effects over in the fake haunted village. Having to listen to the screams all the time. Well, I'm not actually seeing the harvester, so maybe this is just coincidence. I don't know. Let's just keep sweeping the area here. And let me make sure I read the description correctly. Just right of the Mothman Museum, right of the set of cabins along the 88 roads, along that road. Okay, so maybe I'm looking at the wrong 88 road. That's 81. They say it's actually along the road. Let's go look at the road. Am I going the right way? There it is. The road, that is. Bye, Stalder. Someone's gotta have an actual picture of like an icon or something. This. Oi, that's a just too detailed map. But it shows all of them. Okay, so I see where that is. And I am almost there. Let's just keep going. That wouldn't get tiring at all. Oh, there it is. It's kind of a nice spot, right? Except the haunting sounds of a woman screaming in the distance. Welcome. Let's do a wave. Okay. Just mark it on the map here. I know it's on the wrong side and stuff, doesn't matter. Just so I can get here again. And now let's move my other camp. Let's activate my shack. Oh, how many people are up there? Oh, I got someone from my team up there. Might need to go do that. Uh-oh, wait a minute. Oh, there. Yeah, I would not look forward to hearing that in the background all the time. Maybe we'll try a different one. Okay, so all this one is this thing, which lights up super bright in the dark. And then we got some basic supplies. Some water. That's the sound I was talking about, that pumping sound. Did I get it? I got it. And some basic crafting stuff with one of these new light harnesses that I started playing with lately, which is kind of fun. Okay, so I can't make any more grenades. I don't have... Well, I might be able to now. Let's check. Oops. Tried making a couple new versions of this gun earlier today. All of them were a bust. We'll just keep trying. See if we can get something a little more fun. Oh yeah, there we go. Make sure I'm really picking... I'm like, did I pick the right thing? This seems like I'm able to make quite a few, and I thought I was almost out of stuff. Huh, okay. While I'm here, go back. Ammo, 5mm. Don't have to make a lot of those, but we'll make a couple. There we go. We even got a dupe. Good deal. Oops. Keep suspecting that I've got some stuff that I haven't scrapped. And then the answer is no. Let's go. Let's go join the event. This one is basically, for me, it's fly up on top of a thing near the center and try to launch as many grenades as I can towards the ghouls as they're running to their various locations. Not to take them all out, because that would be rude. Don't want to take all the experience.
Peer at yourself.
Ay, ay, ay.
Of your
That was
mind's
loud.
eye. See yourself as others see you. Examine yourself from a short distance at all angles. You may find a
Like so.
perspective on life.
And that's the other reason this one can be fun, is watching the bodies fly. Let me get my better experience on here. Whoops. It's a difficult thing. It's hard for me to tell sometimes. Like I said, I don't want to take them all out like that, right? I need to leave some for other people to get some shots in so that they can get some experience. Oh, trees. I need that guy to stop talking.
Draw in energy from the outside, attune it to your spirit, and pass it through.
Hey, just so you know, I'm trying not to like take all of them out with the grenades. If I start preventing you from getting experience, just shoot me or something. I'll take a hint.
Discordant forces that stand in your way. Do not let them harm you spiritually. If you feel your physical self reacting to their presence, that's okay. But please be aware of your surroundings and do not damage our property.
I'm getting a lot of experience from it. That's nice. Wait a little bit here. Hey, we did it. Cool. Good. Hopefully that worked from their point of view. Alrighty. And 238 grenades left. Not bad. Cool. Okay. So I went ahead and emptied out the oil shack already. That's why I moved over there. Then I didn't want to accidentally set up the camp. Only to then realize that I forgot to... Oh, that might be a good idea. Anyway, that I forgot to switch camps. I didn't want to accidentally destroy my nice architectural house, you know. I like it anyway. There are a lot of places where there are junk piles. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, it's hard for my eyes to tell the orange from the red on this. I think I've been looking at orange dots. What's that? What away? Berry mentats. Okay. They show one being out in the water? How? How does that work? What are the orange dots? Oh, copper, which I really don't use for much. I'm sure I do. I'm just unaware of it because I haven't run out yet, but... Okay, don't overthink this. I don't want to do the one where the lady's screaming all the time. That's just annoying. I don't want to do one where it's too close to, like, the start point in the game. Because I like to have a couple places set up, you know, like jumping off points to go to. Yeah, some of the ones they're showing aren't available for camps. They are part of a workshop, so you have to be careful there too. Well, so I see one of them. Look on the map here. Where is that? Kind of down here. It's actually not a bad spot. It's not too far away from Morgantown. Oh, hey! How's it going? I was actually going to go catch your stream after I was done if you were still on. So, good to have you here. And let me tell you, I'm not much of one for typing out everything I say, so it's nice to be able to actually say it. Help me out here. I don't know how to pronounce, is it Warrior Core or Warrior Corp? Thank you. I appreciate it. Okay. Let's go ahead and head over here and then we'll look for the junk pile up there. It's one of those words that I, short for Warrior Corporation, Warrior Corp. Okay. Cool. Well, how did your stream go tonight? So this was number 4, right? You were saying that last night was your 3rd stream ever? So yeah, this is actually the 2nd stream of the day. I did one earlier since my work schedule is really weird. They have us do basically we have 9 working days and then we all get a flex day off. And those things are so weird. Like every time I see one, I'm like, shoot it, and I'm like, wait a minute, nope, it's just a beaver. Just leave it alone. Let's head north here. Oh, nice. That's really cool. That's awesome. Yeah, it's actually doing pretty well. I'm not sure if you're referring to like actually how it looks in terms of the render, or I had it in my head. I thought you had played this one a little bit. Maybe I'm thinking of one of the other Fallout games too. I may be remembering incorrectly. Now I've got to go back and check my reference map here. So I'm looking for a camp site. It's right to the right of the second bend in the river. So I'm going the wrong way. It's actually up this way. Looking for the bend in the river that goes under the road. And then there should be a junk pile. You played the other Fallouts. Okay, cool. River, good. And junk pile, maybe, somewhere. So there are certain, like, just fundamental resources that are still, even at this level, like level 381, I think I am now, that still I have to push and push and push for every single time I play. And let me tell you, it gets old. It's one of the things that I wish they'd adjust in the game a little bit. Maybe as you get up to a higher level, add more stuff to make it so that you don't have to just do the same kind of daily grind all the time. Boy, I'm really missing something here. Oh, thanks. I appreciate that. About the comment about my voice. You know how it is when you hear yourself? No, I don't think anyone likes hearing their own voice recorded or broadcast. So whenever I go back and listen, I'm like, oh man, I've got this weird, like, what's wrong with my teeth? I'm pronouncing words weird, and that's awful. But I've gotten some positive feedback before, so apparently it's not annoying people too much. Thankfully. All right. I'm starting to think that I've been lied to. I'm just not funny yet. Okay, so there's the river and the railroad tracks. Where is it in regard to those railroad tracks? It's on the road, just a little bit left there. Like, I should be right on top of it, right there. Am I being blind? Does anyone else see a junk pile that I'm just missing? I keep seeing this rock and thinking that's it, and that is not it. Unless it's this... Is there something in the road that I'm not seeing? Uh-oh. What is going on down there? I suspect I'm about to get attacked. Yeah, I don't know what they're doing with Mr. Walker, with the robot there. We're just going to deal with that. Okay. Better. Yeah, so Pepe is, they're sort of, these are public teams. So I've never met Pepe before. There are some people, every once in a while, I'll hit it off with someone on the team, and, like we can actually connect as friends in the game, but people come and go on the casual, the public teams all the time. So, but yeah, they're level 600 plus, 661. There was someone earlier who was like level 1200 something. I think I've seen someone in this game who was like almost level 5000. I just can't imagine. I can't imagine having put that much effort into the game. Not saying it's a bad thing or anything. I just, that is a feat. That would be really, really challenging to do. Yeah, right? So I met someone today. I actually forgot to see what level he is. Let me see if I can see it on the friends list. He's going to have several characters, so it's not going to list it here, I guess. Yeah. Hitbit, actually. And I'm alone. Oh, nope, I got one other person. Let me see if I can find a bigger team. So the thing with these teams is you have several different kinds. Casual, you get a bonus in intelligence. And that bonus goes up depending on how many people are on the team. With more intelligence, you get more experience for whatever you're doing in the game. For kills, for building, for cooking, for everything. So most of what I'm doing right now is oriented around trying to bump up my experience as high as I can, so that when they start the new season, I don't have to take as long to move through and get the stuff on the board. There's a lot of stuff on the board each season that just isn't all that interesting to me. Like if you look at the board from this last season, they started out with a supply package, so you get some basic supplies, Here's an exercise bike, which I've never set up, just like in real life. You get odds and ends. But then you get stuff like this. Or at the very end of the board this season, you had... they're not going to show it now, because it's blocked out by that. But they had some things towards the end that were like much more advanced or sought after building kits, like different wall styles and that kind of thing. So a lot of people who play the game, myself included, really enjoy the building aspect of it, setting up different camps and that kind of thing. So getting those things is important, but it can be a slog getting through everything in the game, everything that's on that board. So if you are able to get a lot more experience by using combinations of different special foods, and frankly, there's what they call them chems in the game, but we know what they all are. Food and chems and weapons and armor, all that are tuned to boosting your intelligence. You're about 79.4% sure you're going to get it. Should you wait? I'm going to wait just a second until this guy in the game stops talking. It's super loud in my... Here, I'm just going to take those off for a minute. Do I have a good loot run? Kind of. Like, if I actually paid attention to what other people did in the game more, I'd probably have a better one. But part of the fun for me is discovering stuff on my own, which means that I'm always going to be a little behind the curve. It's always going to be just a little bit slow. Oh, hey. You too. There we go. So I've got, when it comes to stuff like lead for ammo, yes, I've got a pretty good loot run. I know where most or all of the high supply spots are for lead. When it comes to springs and that kind of thing, which you need for making the grenades that I use, I've got a long way to go. I'm still trying to figure stuff out. Whoop. There we go. That's a way to play it without spoilers. Yeah, no, I agree. Totally agree. You do see there's sort of a community out there that's a little bit more... it's just how they play, right? It's like, I mean, I'm sure it's like this on a game where there's a right way to do it and a wrong way to do it. And if you do something and it's like, well, that's not what you do. No, what you're supposed to do is, and it's, you go to the website and you look up the thing and you get this weapon and you do this to it and da-da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, that's just not my preferred approach. Doing the shopping list sort of style playing, which is, I know they probably don't think of it that way, but that's, kind of what it comes down to in my head. Is it's like a shopping list. You go and you do the standard thing, you get the standard benefit. It takes some of the fun out for me too. So yeah, I like playing without spoilers too. Although I will say that guy I was talking about earlier, Hitbit, whose camps are absolutely amazing. And there's a community of people who do this in this game where they're using glitches in the game to their advantage to build stuff that you just can't build if you're trying to do everything strictly by the book. Is there PvP? There is. The PvP system in the game, I'll tell you what, real quick on the builds, the whole point of that thing was there are certain things that you can do in the game that most of us are not going to figure out on our own in a million years. And I just saw a few of those today. Like the first camp I went to visit of his was a pop-up storybook. Like this building that is shaped like a book that has 3D items in it. Just amazing. Really, really creative. And he used all standard parts. He's not hacking anything. He's not like breaking the game to do this. He just knows how to get all the things that you build with to play together in such a way that you can do stuff that, again, it's super tricky. So I'm kind of realizing that, if I really want to take it to the next level and do some really kind of fancy camp builds and that kind of thing, it's not going to be enough to just go figure it out on my own. I'm going to have to go and actually study some of these techniques and see what they're doing. So is there PvP? There is. They actually used to have a special mode that to me was better for this. They used to have what was called survival mode. So same map, but you would get more experience, and it was open season on everyone, right? So you had to go in there, and you expected that other players would be hunting you down, and there are no level restrictions or anything, right? So you had to go in as a low-level character there, and you might get taken out a lot by the mid to high-level folks. But it changes the chemistry of the game, right? If you know that going in, like I did that as a low-level character, and I spent most of my time... Oh, and there was no fast travel either. So I spent most of my time sneaking from one point to another, trying to take out the enemies in the game, because, again, it was a good way to kind of grind for experience and level up faster. For whatever reason, they took that mode out of the game. They removed that. Then they did a... what do you call it? As mode of play where it's again, it was player versus player elimination, right? And they called it Nuclear Winter, Fallout Nuclear Winter, and it was around for quite a while. And now they took that out too. So the state of PvP is pretty limited. Like, there is PvP in this, in that technically I could go up to any of these people and initiate PvP. I could just start shooting them. And if they want to, they can retaliate, and suddenly we'd have a PvP match going on. The way the rules work, though, is... so if I start a fight with someone, they can have a mode on that is basically prevents you from getting... Like, it'll do some damage, but it's not going to do full damage right away. Now, if they shoot me and then I retaliate and I fire back, then it opens up full damage. And we're in a mode where we're almost there. Got 7 more. Oh, there we go. We'll go down and meet the Mothman. I just heard the Mothman land. And then there are certain other areas in the game that are also more susceptible, I guess, to PvP, right? So if I have a workshop, which is, I can show you in a little bit here. We're going to do this. Hey, yo. Here, we'll take a picture together. We'll go there, go into photo mode, go to character. We'll put a pose on. Which one do we want to do? Oh, yeah, that's a good one. There are people doing little dances there. And take a picture. Say hi to the Mothman. He does this funny little reaction. Now I'm getting 5% more experience for like an hour. Did I just get hit? Okay. So the other PvP thing is in workshops. Workshops are certain areas on the map. They look like this initially. If no one owns them, they're going to look like this. They're just going to be a little circle with a tool symbol. We'll do this one. I haven't actually done that one for a while, and it's right by me, and it's actually near some of the other stuff I've got to look at anyway. So workshops are areas that you can claim, but that claim is only going to last as long as your current session. Like if I leave the game and come back, or I join another server, I just give up that workshop. Any work I've put into it, any buildings I've built or anything, just go away. The other thing about workshops is they will typically have a lot of resources of one kind or another. You can set up harvesters. They will continue to generate events, so you can keep getting experience now and then. Different kinds of enemies will come in and attack, so there are a lot of reasons to get them. They also set up daily goals around how many of them that you're supposed to get, that sort of thing. There we go. Something's biting my heel. Anyone else? But anyway, the other thing you need to know about workshops, though, is that they also are sort of like PvP zones. So if you're in a workshop and you've done all this work and you've set up all your resource harvesters and your buildings and that kind of thing, and you've got, so the Gorge Junkyard here is a workshop. We'll go in and I'll claim this one. Another player can come along and challenge you openly, and then you're immediately in PvP mode. Stop! Those things are so annoying. So here we've got a black titanium deposit. Black titanium is used in certain kinds of armor. I think, let's take a look at the stats for this one and see what we get. So there's going to be food we can harvest. There's junk, there's concrete, wood, titanium, some water. So all sorts of stuff that we can opt to get here. First things first. And the jetpack you do not get in the game for a long time, by the way. That's sort of a later game thing. But I can't really do without them now. I'm kind of addicted. They're just part of how I navigate. Every once in a while I use some armor where I can't wear the jetpack, and then I go and like jump off the edge of a building, plummet to my demise, because I forgot that I'm not wearing the jetpack. But so here, the frustrating thing is the way they set up PvP here is that, well, jetpack is unlocked through, it's a directed sort of thing. Like, you can choose to pursue different resources, and, like, it also involves a lot of grinding, honestly. If you're using the jetpacks that are on the power armor, you can get those pretty quick, but you've got to find the plan to be able to build them. There will be certain events that are more likely to drop those plans. There will be players who get the drops, they already have it, or they don't want it, so they'll sell it from a vending machine in their camp. So you can go around to different players, and there's a little bit of an economy set up in people selling ammo and parts and plans and that kind of thing. A little bit. I think that part could be a lot better, but it works. It's pretty simple. It's straightforward. It's a decent way to make the most basic in-game currency. But yeah, so once I get this thing set up, once I lay a claim to it, another player can come along, and if they're a high enough level, or there are certain weapons you can glitch to, so you can actually be firing a couple weapons at once, which is very uncommon, but it does happen. Some people are into that sort of thing. I've had people, like, even when I'm in full armor and full health, like right now, you look at my health bar and it's super low. That's another whole story as to why I'm intentionally keeping my health low. And yeah, someone will just come up, and it takes all of like half a second with the right weapon, and that's it, you're gone. And now the workshop is theirs. Some people will do it because some of these workshops are maybe one of only one or two places in the whole game where you can make certain things, and they want it, and you did all the work, and you set everything up, and they're like, thank you very much, I'll just take that now. Super annoying. I hate to say it, but I've had that happen more often than I care to admit. See if we can do this now. Yeah. So there you go. Say pay 25 caps. Caps are the basic currency. And they warn you here, other players may initiate PvP by attempting to claim it from you. Now I've also had some low-level people come up and try to start something with you because they're just being, like I said, they're being cheeky or they're being whatever. And it can be kind of fun to teach them about the game, where there was someone who was already wanted, which means that they had already been picking fights with other characters, and the game marked them as a wanted person, right? And so they came up and they walked right up to the machine, and they tried to claim the camp I was working on. I just looked down and I'm like, okay, dropped a couple grenades, and they ran in circles for a second and then blew up, and no problems. I got the reward for them being wanted. And so it's got a lot of kind of fun mechanisms in the game, really, for dealing with that kind of stuff. It's just that some of them maybe aren't impactful enough. And so when you get folks like we were talking about earlier, the people who are maybe level 1,000 or more, and they just decide they're entitled to other things because they've put so much time into the game. It's like to that extent, it's like any gaming community. You're going to get people who, they're going to do their thing. There's not a lot that you can do about it. Thankfully, the vast majority of the community in this game is pretty nice, pretty good. Like today, 3 totally separate people I ran into, all of whom were awesome. Just wanted to play along, go on little missions and quests together. When Hitbit, that camp builder I was talking about, took me on a tour, first of that 3D book plan thing, that book camp, and then the guy actually built a lighthouse. Like, better, I think, than the lighthouse I was just at, the one that's actually built into the game. His had like a little house for the lighthouse keeper with a fireplace with a custom chimney. It just went to town on this thing. he knows some tricks for building circular floor patterns. He somehow built a sort of a spiral staircase that wound up around the walls inside. Really, really creative. Super nice guy. Like I said, kind of took me on a tour of a couple of his different camps, and we were talking about different building techniques and that. And as I'm doing this, there's another guy who was on my public team who kind of followed along and was just kind of going along for the ride and listening in. And there's more of that in the game, which is one of the reasons I like playing this one too, is that it's got a very good community around it. There's toxicity everywhere. You're never going to get away from it fully, but it's pretty manageable here. I would say, based on my experience, I've played on all three platforms. I've played on PlayStation, PC, and Xbox. I think PlayStation actually has the nicest people. That's just my opinion and my experience. Other people's mileage may vary. But they have a really positive community there. PC comes in second. Close second, I would say. They actually have a pretty good community too. When I played on Xbox, I didn't play a ton, but when I did, I constantly got attacked. I constantly had people initiating PvP. No, it's a good point. There's no crossplay. They supposedly were going to at first, and then at the time, Sony had restrictions on what games could actually, like, what the requirements were for crossplay and that kind of thing. And Bethesda, who makes the game, basically just said, nope, we're not going to do it. That's it. We're done. And shortly after that, Sony relaxed the rules. They opened things up, and now more games can do crossplay easier, and Bethesda still kind of said, it's Microsoft support. Yeah, I'll just kind of, yep, I'll nod to that. There is a little bit of that association, and I say that, and I'm worked with Microsoft systems for a living, so maybe it's a little bit of a trade of the community. It's hard to say. Anyway, so yeah, it's been a fun game. It's been good. If you look at my old streams, and I don't know that like I said, a lot of them are pretty boring. But you'll hear me complaining. Like, I definitely have my gripes with the game. There are certain things that some of the systems in the game that could be set up so that you could do more sophisticated economies, more systems of trade. They cripple intentionally. They make it so that like if you've bought something in the game, like a custom skin for a weapon, and you've paid real world money that you've used their Atom Shop is what they call it. I can see why Bethesda wouldn't want you to just hand that over to someone else. I totally get that. But there are certain other things in the game. Are enemies locked at 50? No, actually, enemies can go up to, I think 100 is the cap. 100 is as high as I've seen them. They do kind of scale the enemies based on the players involved in an encounter. And so I think the lowest level that you'll see, given my character's level, the lowest level I'll run into is around 50. I don't think I'll ever see much lower than that, unless I'm coming in late on some event that was started by a much lower level character, that kind of thing. But yeah, so they actually, microtransactions, yes, exactly. Lots and lots of them. And they have a subscription model. Now, if it turns out that you really enjoy the game and you want to do a lot of camp builds and you're going to be playing a lot, personally, I think their subscription model is fair. Like, I know some people don't like having to pay for have a repeat payment at all. Totally respect that. But you get a fair amount for what you put into the game, What build do I have? You know what? I'm not sure what to call myself. In terms of the standard roles, I don't think I fit any of the sort of standard roles in a game very well. Like, I was kind of a tank for a while. Heavy gunner / tank. Right now, so in Fallout terms, I'm using what's very often called either a bloodied build or a low health build. Let me go ahead and jump in here. So the low health build works off of a couple different things. So yes, I keep my health intentionally low. The red bar isn't just damage, that's radiation. So I keep myself intentionally radiated so that my health can't go up above a certain point. But if I need to, I can also remove the radiation and let my health come back up. The first thing to note then is this, the armor. So I took a lot of time and a lot of grinding and a lot of these. You get these legendary modules and that kind of thing. My character is a mutant, absolutely. I have 3 different mutations I use now. Which I've actually added so many things in the last, say, 3-4 weeks that I just did not do before. Mutations were one of them. Never used those before. Now I'm dependent on them. Unyielding armor that we see here. Unyielding means that you can see there, like gain up to +3 on all stats except endurance when at low health. So this means I can bump up my intelligence, my charisma, all my stats, my strength and everything by no fewer than 15 points each, just by keeping myself at low health. And like I said, I haven't played enough of these games even to know if like a low health or a bloodied build is like a regular thing in other games. I encountered it for the first time in Fallout. They have lots and lots of things in the game that really favor a low health build. Low health, there are a couple of different stages. The lowest one is 20%. So if I can get it below 20%, that triggers maximum benefit across the board on benefits from the armor. The other thing that you gradually build up in the game are these cards. This is, especially compared to the older Fallout games, this is maybe one of my favorite things in this version of the game. Whereas before you would get these perks that were associated with your core traits, right? So here are the things related to strength, related to perception and whatnot. And as you go along and start in the game, this is empty. And you gain cards as you level up and gain experience and that kind of thing. And you can swap out which cards you're currently using. So like right now, I have one of the wrong cards up here. I have this one that's used, it's based on my charisma. It's used for getting better prices at vendors, but I'm not using that right now. So instead, I'm going to go over here, take a 3-point tenderizer card, which basically means that I'm going to lower my enemy's defense for a little bit of time after hitting them for the first time, and swap that out and put that on there. So you can do like the intelligence side, like I have all these different cards for building armor, building camps. Hacking is something you encounter in the game where to get into a room or through a certain area, an optional area, you may have to hack a computer. Some of them are level 1 or 2 or 3. So you can add hacking cards to allow you to attempt the little mini game that they do to try to hack the computer. So you kind of get the idea. There's a ton of stuff. And so there are some that are going to be very oriented towards, when you're out in the field and you're blowing stuff up and you're fighting enemies, and other ones that you use at home. Like I know that they have an endurance card that you can use that will just give you health regeneration while you're at home, while you're in your camp. So you can go home for the day, take off your hat, hang up your hat, swap out your perks, and sit there and just recover from the day if you really wanted. But yeah, I've never used that one. So we've got, looking at the low health cards, Serendipity. So while below 30% health, about half the shots are just going to miss. Whatever my armor, anything like that. This card will kick in 45% of the time and just remove damage from random hits. Starch genes make sure that when I heal my radiation, I don't inadvertently remove my mutations, because I want the mutations to stay around. Other ones that are related to low health. Nerd Rage. Very, very popular one. So while below 20% health, gain 40 damage resistances, which is a pretty good boost. 15% AP regen, 20% more damage. Hey there. Let's see. I'm not sure how to pronounce your name. I'm going to call you Cyberpone, maybe? Cyberpon, I'm not sure which. Let's see. So you never played the game. Does the game still heavily rely on premium feature? Then in the past there was a lot of backlash from the community. I'm just going to straight up say, yeah, it does. Like if you're going to play the game, it's probably worth it to get the subscription. I'll show you why. So let me go ahead. So I'm going to go into build mode here. And when you store stuff, store all the steel and rubber and all the things that you're going out there to store. You're going to store those in your camp or in workshops. It's actually a shared space. So the one that I put here in the workshop is going to contain the same stuff that I would have in my home camps. So the normal stash boxes look like this. We put that down. And then this is one that you get only with the subscription, right? So this one, if you look, it holds 1,200 units, and pounds, whatever you want to call them. But it holds 1,200 units worth of stuff. That is going to get filled up really, really quick. You can see, even though I have infinite storage in that other box for scrap material, just from storing stuff that I keep in my vending machine, extra weapons, extra armor, food, all the things that I kind of store normally that can't go in that other box, I'm still using up almost all the storage here. Now, when the game started out, it was even lower. Like, when the game started out, you got like 800 pounds worth of stuff, and that's it, you're done. And it was miserable. And then, yeah, part of their solution, of course, just like you were describing, lots and lots of people push back against that. And their solution, in air quotes, that they came back with was, well, here's a paid plan, and then you can get more storage. And I think a lot of people, maybe rightly, saw that as a little bit of a slap in the face. Like, that's not what we mean. Like, make the storage in the game more reasonable just for day-to-day play for the people who don't want to have to buy all the extra stuff, who don't want the extra credits in the store and the other stuff that comes along with the subscription, For this reason alone, like, I went off the subscription for a number of months, but I also didn't play hardly at all. As soon as I got back into regular play, it really got to be a huge hindrance again. So, like, if you're going to play long term, yeah, be like in the US, it's roughly $12, $13 a month for that subscription. Now, you get a bunch of that back. Like I said, if you're really into this, if you're going to spend money on it anyway, if you're going to be in the item shop and buying stuff like the extra stuff for your camp or skins for your armor and weapons, and you love that stuff and you're buying it anyway, then the plan makes sense, because you will get credits every month for the store above and beyond what you're paying into the subscription. You get a better rate on in-store credits through the subscription than you do just by buying them as needed. And then on top of that, you also get, which I'll go over here and look at this, which this is just for storing junk, basically. It doesn't store food or items. It just stores raw material. But it stores infinite amounts of raw material. So all the steel and everything that you're going to use to repair things or build things, all that gets stored in here. And there's no limit. You're not limited at all. You can just keep piling it in. So if you're buying stuff in the store anyway, and then you pay the subscription and you get this, and then you also get these temporary camps that you can set up where most places that you are in the map. And they have different styles of these. This one you can see has 2 stash boxes built in, and it has a bed inside and a cook stove, and it's a nice little camp. You can't use these without that subscription either. So, do I think it's a sort of a fair balance model? Well, it's like most game companies these days. They really squeeze to, like, if you're going to play the game regularly, yeah, expect to pay. My wife and I both play, albeit on different platforms, so this is kind of a fun couple hobby for us. Well, even though we can't play in the same servers, we compare notes and that kind of thing. So for us, it's kind of worth it. The way I think of it is, it's like, these days, that's a couple cups of coffee or something, frankly. So if I really want to, if I were to forego the latte and instead play some Fallout, that's an option. Looking at it that way, to me, I'm like, that's not so bad. Like that's kind of a decent trade-off, if I'm going to be doing that anyway. So, yeah, I'm trying to think of in terms of the other things that they do that relate to some of their early game stuff. I think that's it. Like I said, you can see that they actually did increase this finally from 800 up to 1200. So it's better. I think that's a more reasonable minimum if you want to play a lot more casually. Oh, if you want to say, yeah, well, it's probably worth a try. I know that they've done like free weekends in the past. I don't know if they do that anymore. So, but yeah, I've seen, it's funny you say that because, yeah, I've definitely seen an influx of people coming into the game. Like if I go and look right now, yep, right on cue. So this is where you come out into the world. And by the way, when you come out, you can't see any of these markers. Like this is, But anyway, so you come out here, and like you can see, we've got folks who are probably trying out the game, coming out of there, coming out of the vault in their vault getup, and going down to the Wayward is kind of the first place you visit. They're starting out on there is an in-game narrative, kind of a story that you go through. You don't have to, like, you can just wander off and do whatever the heck you want. You get enough good stuff through the story and experience and in more encounters, more events and that kind of thing. It's worth doing. I would say the writing isn't great. Comparing the story in this to the story that was in the multiple stories that were in Fallout 4, the writing in Fallout 4 is a lot better, personal opinion. The main story was better. It was more engaging. There were better choices that you had to make about which factions you're going to align yourself with. This is a lot more straightforward. It's a little more wander around, check the boxes, connect the dots and all that, and you're off to the races. But it's not too bad. It's better than when the game started out at first and there was no story. There were no NPCs. There were a handful of recordings that you would find throughout the game that would give you a little bit of background info on what was going on. They've added a lot of stuff to the game. I haven't even finished all the story mode now. There's more narrative content that they added based on the Brotherhood of Steel, which if you know the games, you may have heard of Elder Maxon and some of the other characters from the other games. Well, the Brotherhood is here too, of course. And there's some story things around there that I'm kind of in the middle of. Like if I run out of stuff to do, which isn't that often, I can go and do the story mode and move that along. And again, you get some pretty good experience for doing that. But anyway, yeah, I like it. It's a love-hate relationship. There's still a lot of stuff that frustrates the heck out of me. I'll say that for example, there's a kind of resource that's really important for certain kinds of ammo. I just saw it. Uh-oh. Oh, it looks like someone's dropping a nuke, is all. Yeah. So you can see someone dropped a nuclear bomb down here, and they're getting ready to... I won't go into that. That's a late stage thing. So, but that's what the warning was about. If you go through certain parts of the game, and you get to a certain point where it's a challenging run that you have to do, but you can launch your own nuke. You can go ahead... And there's a region right through the new area where they will not let you drop a nuke. But you can drop them pretty much anywhere else you want. The thing is, though, there are certain spots on the map where if you drop them, they will trigger bigger events. And then you can go and, naturally it changes the map for a while. Like it changes the level of encounters that you get and that kind of thing. But it's kind of fun to do. That was actually some of the most fun I had in the game. Was the first time. I avoided it for a long time just because the run that you have to do to get to launch the nuke, it's like you had to go and find all these partial secret codes, and you can look online if you really want, which frankly, anytime I launch one now, I do that. There's sites you can go to where they have the codes you need. The way they did it in the game, it's a little frustrating. You can only move it along a little bit each day. So typically you're not going to be able to launch a nuke until later in the week, and you really have to push and do a lot of random searches to find stuff. It's maybe a little more effort than is practical. Are there dungeons in the game? So what do you mean by dungeon? I'm not sure. That can mean a couple different things. But I was going to say that the first time I actually launched one, then it was a lot of fun. There's a real sense of accomplishment when you finally get down into the control room and you do all the things you've got to do, and you get to pick the spot on the map. And it's sort of, there's one spot that you do that maybe is a little quote unquote traditional in terms of, like this is typically where you're going to drop your first bomb because it triggers the end game stuff, but you don't have to. You can drop them wherever you want. I typically drop them on this town that's up here just because there's a lot of crops that grow around here that turn into different resources when they're irradiated. Oh, more tough enemies with bosses that have mechanics. So this is kind of like that. Like, you notice how many people are down here. I've been down here once where I ended up accidentally being on my own, and it's absolutely hopeless. Hard as that one is, the one that's up here, even worse. Like, those are like you're describing, the tough enemies. And I apologize. I actually don't play any other MMORPGs. I don't. I'm very kind of narrow in terms of the games that I've played in the past and that I currently play. So, yes, they definitely have some places. So the nukes are one thing that'll do that. You get these group events. But then there are certain things that you'll see now and then. There will be events that pop up periodically at different locations. Like there's one that happens here that is, they recommend level 50 and higher, that kind of thing. They also then have these daily ops. Daily ops are probably the closest thing to what you're talking about, where the rules of engagement change a little bit. Like if I click on this, let's see if we can, there we go. So recommended level 50 plus, time until reset 8 hours, where is it located, which enemy faction are you fighting, what are the enemy mutations, what are the things that make the enemies tougher. And this Piercing Days one is the reason that I stopped doing these. My first build that I had in here was a stealth build. And I was so happy with it. It was like a stealth sniper, Cool. All right, warrior. I apologize. I feel like I'm really enjoying the conversation. I feel like I can't talk quite fast enough to answer everyone's questions. But yeah, so I had a stealth build that was kind of a sniper, and tried out my first daily ops. I didn't pay attention to what they said here, like very plainly, just like here it said, you don't get stealth in there. This greatly enhanced perception means that if you have, like, there's certain armor you can get that'll make you invisible when you're not moving, that kind of thing. Yeah, this is probably what you're referring to. You get much better rewards. You get plans and that kind of thing that you can't get anywhere else. Although some players sell them. Like once they've got it the first time, if they get another one, they may just sell them off to other players. They're time trial based. They're a combination of time trials and enemy mutations and really tough bosses. And they're hard. They're definitely challenging. I've got to get into them more simply because, again, there are a lot of things like the plans and that kind of thing that... Like, there are a lot of goodies in there. There's a lot of opportunity for boosting experience and that kind of thing, It's a good, sort of a multiplayer little thing that you can jump into. Oh, right on cue. Then there's also this. This isn't quite what you're referring to, but there are certain events that are going to pop up. Move that out of there. Like this one that just came up that similarly... They're not nearly as difficult, but they are, like, this one's hard because you're trying to kill some enemies but then not kill the animals that are in there, so they're more challenging. They're intended for higher level, they're higher experience, so I would say that there are multiple levels and kinds of encounters, general encounters in the game, oriented around I want to do something that is with a team or that I can do solo, or something that's higher level, something that is, oriented around, like, the daily ops are definitely the hardest ones. And like I said, when I initially found out that all the effort I had poured into stealth and armor and all this was just useless in there, I did not go back for a long time. Now I'm trying out a new build, and I don't feel like I'm really like if I go in there, I'm probably going to be a hindrance to whoever I'm playing with. So I want to make sure I've gotten a couple things ironed out before I go in and do that. So yeah, it's funny. You know what? All this stuff that kind of hangs out in the background that I really don't think about until someone asks questions, and there really is a lot in the game that's really awesome. I mentioned that there are certain things you can get in these zones that you can't get in the non-irradiated zones. In terms of my gripes in the game, in terms of the systems that they've set up, they put arbitrary caps, or limits, I should say, arbitrary limits on the kinds of trading you can do. Like, there are certain items that if I just try to set them down, even though they're not like a paid item, they're nothing that's based on microtransactions or anything like that, but I can't sell them. If I try to put them in a vending machine, it'll just tell me no. If I try to set them down for someone, it'll destroy them instead. That seems pointless to me. They could, by making certain things in the game, like certain armor builds or weapons builds and that a lot more difficult and rare, they could set up much more complicated and rewarding economies in the game that I feel like they're missing out on, and that to me take away from like I'd love to have a version of this where you had people who specialized in doing armor, weapons, builds, all these, chems, all these different things where maybe you don't have time to invest in all the things. I mean, as my character is now, it's like, yeah, I can build armor and weapons and like I can do all the stuff on my own. I think it'd be more interesting, it'd be more rewarding, and it would create more of a drive, kind of a daily, like, never mind the boring daily grind, I've got to go find lead in springs. Let me, if I'm trying to set up a trade sort of a business, to me that would be more interesting. I wish they would do that. There are a lot of things that they do that intentionally prevent it that I find frustrating. And then there are variations on other kinds of rules. Like, I'm not going to try to list all of them. But the one I found out about recently was certain plants, when they are in a blast zone, will produce different resources. Those other resources they produce can be really valuable, I thought. Actually, I thought, I didn't think of it. My wife and my son thought of it. And I'm like, that's a good idea. I'm going to go try that. And I built a greenhouse down in a region that gets bombed all the time. This is a real hot spot down here. So I put my house right around here. And built a garden. Everything's great, and I got the notice that the bomb was coming. I hot-footed it out, into the fields and got out of the blast zone, turned around and got ready to take pictures. And sure enough, the bomb hits. You see, it's actually really cool looking when you see the detonation and all that. I think it looks really neat. I've seen people online doing group photos. Like, they will arrange for someone to launch a nuke into a certain place, and then as it's launching, everyone else rushes to another location so that they can take the group photo in front of the mushroom cloud. Kind of a fun thing. But anyway, so yeah, I ran away from my house. I'm waiting out in the fields. I've got all my crops set up. I'm like, cool, I'm going to be able to get a ton of this resource. And I watch as this wave just annihilates my house, which I expected. That's part of it. I totally expected that it would destroy the house at first. But then I went in, and it turns out that the plants that you put in your own camp aren't like any of the other plants. Even though they have the exact same name and model and everything, they don't mutate. And so I'm like, why? Why? You will find those kinds of limits throughout the game. Like, oh, I've thought of a new and clever thing. It uses all the systems that are built into the game, and it's going to help me get a whatever. There's like a food factory over here that you can go in. It's another workshop. You can go fight off the bad guys, go in, power up the food machines, and there's a particular kind of thing in there that you can use in another recipe that gives you, well, just say some, good stuff in general. Well, it turns out that the food that's produced here isn't quite the right kind of thing to do that, so it reduces looking for that particular item to a random wander through, through Appalachia, trying to find boxes of cereal. Basically, it's like, really? Let people do things. Let people use their insight and ingenuity and make stuff. It'd be a whole lot better. But like I said, actually, kind of going over the list of stuff here, it's still got a lot to offer. It's a fun game, definitely. And I think that has a lot of things to offer different kinds of players, frankly. My wife and I are both into the idea of building up the camps, the houses, and trying to do different things there. And just today I talked to a really advanced builder who had some really, really good tips on how to get the most out of what you're doing. So I'm looking forward to trying to put some of that together too. There it is. We'll go check out their camp. So worth a try, and you'll probably know pretty quick if it's your cup of tea or just not your thing, right?
Could I interest you?
Yeah, and like you were saying, early on, Bethesda made some really, really unfortunate moves, some really bad moves in terms of how they did marketing and what they advertised versus what they delivered, and they were kind of their own worst enemy for a while. I guess they still kind of are in some ways. Based on what I heard today, though, they're a lot more engaged with the player community than they were previously. So that's good. It's good to hear. Okay, so this, by the way, I'm looking at is a vending machine. So when you set up a camp, you will get a plan for a vending machine, I think pretty quickly. I can't remember if it just is stock standard or if you have to find the plan. But a vending machine, basically, you set it up. You can put whatever you want in it. You can assign your own prices. Other players can then come along and see what you're selling and decide if they want to buy stuff. So it ends up being a halfway decent way to raise caps for other things in the game. Caps being, of course, the basic currency. I'm amazed I don't have this. A pipe gun is one of the most basic things in the whole game. How could I not have that? I've got 2 pipe gun plans I've never seen before, and I have no idea how that's possible. Mounted Firefly? Yeah, we'll take that too. That's really expensive. Let's not do that one. And a Vault 94. How do I not? Oh, Vault 94 instead of like 96, or it's a very particular vault, I guess. Probably not worth 875 taps, at least not to me. Ooh, bulk aluminum for 40. I think that's pretty good, and I need aluminum, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Then the springs. We absolutely need the springs.
You are a piece of
Go figure. Huh.
That means
I'm actually, they had more stuff there than I'm used to seeing in one spot. But I'll say again, this surprises the heck out of me. How could I not have those? But you never know.
How could anyone throw away this used toilet
Okay. They probably also have some stash boxes around. And so that person there, that NPC, is what you call an ally. Allies are characters that you'll meet in the game, some of whom don't have much of a story at all, but you can actually invite them to your camp by building certain things. And it's kind of fun. They can give you different benefits. They can give you different perks, like they'll give you a certain ability. They will... oh, that's... shoot. Oh, well. Just noticing that I walked through the cleaner, which means I lost some of my radiation there. That's okay. That's fine. Deal with that later. Some of the allies actually have a lot more stories associated with them. So there are things that you can do where you have to go through multiple stages of go here, do this, go there, do that. And one of the guns I use actually came from... may have actually been that particular ally. I can't remember offhand. Let's see. It's the Final Word. So it's a 50 caliber machine gun. Gives you a lot more damage resistance while reloading. It also does extra damage against certain enemies, called the Scorched. And then I also modified it to use what's called ultrasight ammo, which takes more rarer ingredients, but it does a ton of damage towards those particular enemies, so ends up being a really, really good thing. 105 damage doesn't sound like a lot until you combine that with the fire rate, and then it can be really, really powerful thing. Not going through there again, I just realized. Stash box, that's what I'm looking for. Not quite that kind, though. So, they may not actually have Fallout First. So they may not have one of those. Now that you mention it, it's funny. I think a lot of the people I run into in the game, maybe even most of the people, actually seem to have the monthly subscription, because they will have certain things in their camps that you can only get through that subscription, like the bigger stash boxes and that. When I really think about it, yeah, I don't think I've seen a ton of people like that who don't have that. So, for what it's worth, doesn't mean everyone should do it, but I'm kind of surprised to think about. Oh yeah, that's better. This, yeah, boy, it's just going to take forever to get enough springs. So the springs are used in making the grenades, and I use those grenades a lot. Okay, let's go here. We're going to make some ammo, so I'm going to take off this one called Bloody Mess that does extra damage temporarily. Super Duper will randomly duplicate an item that I manufacture. Take off Dodgy and put on Ammo Smith so I get better yields on making the ammo. And we're off to the races. So let's go to Explosive Ammo. Make a bunch more of those, because again, I use them all the time. They're kind of a fun long-range weapon. They actually fire too far. The grenades fire so far that you can shoot out of the range that the game recognizes as being like the impact range for anything. So you can basically shoot off into the distance, and the grenades never blow up because they vanish. They just kind of disappear out of the game's. They just disappear. They evaporate. Alrighty, Sutton. Whoop. Oh, I thought I saw something else down there. Alright, well, I've got a map here that suggests that there's supposed to be a junk pile at a certain point on the road. And... okay, well, maybe that's... Nope, that's separate. Okay. Alright, well, I'm going to go take a look. Junk piles are just basically big piles of like scrap lying there, but you can put an extractor on them, and then it will just continuously generate random junk as long as you keep the thing running. And so that can be a good way to kind of randomly generate some of the stuff that you need. It is a slow process, though. Yeah, I think folks who tend to be more into the games where they really favor the weapons, you know, maybe the realism in some of the combat and weaponry, they just aren't as interested in doing, you know, like making a fancy house, that kind of thing. I think this game might be kind of wasted on them. So this is a junk pile. Let's go to resources. It's not a bad game as far as combat goes. It's just that it's not its main thing, really. There we go. So we drop that on there. We've got to power it up. These are some solar panels that they don't... Again, you've got to find the plan for these. Find it or buy it, or any number of ways to get certain plans. And because I'm a little stingy, I'm going to put a lock on it. People can pick the lock pretty easily, but it'll at least discourage some people from just taking the stuff that it's accumulating. And then there's supposed to be one more of those, one more junk pile right over here. Outside the workshop at an area where you can set up a camp. And I just cannot for the life of me find it. You saw the other one, like, they're pretty plain looking. They're not hidden or anything. I figured it's got to be along this fence. Like, why else is the fence here? I don't know. And yet, no. Not there. The heck? We lost Pepe. So the casual teams are like that, though. Like, I used to wonder if I was... When I was playing with casual teams at first, you'd see people do that a lot. You know, you'd be playing, and, cool, we got 4 people, we're maxing out our bonus, life is good, and then, poof, you know, 1, 2, or all 3 of the other people just... off they go. And so there are a lot of people at first on some of the, like on Reddit and that kind of thing, going like, am I doing something wrong? Do I smell bad? You know, oh, there it is. We found it. Okay. This is our new home. It's actually not a bad spot. Grom may actually come by here too. Grom is a super mutant who sells stuff that, again, you can't really buy other places, and I've been looking for him for a while. He's kind of hard to find. He's another one that you just kind of run into him on accident, just at random. Okay, so you get, I think you just get 1 camp slot with a game initially. This is another thing talking about the monetization of the game. You can buy additional camp slots, right? So I've bought 2 or 3 here. I apologize, I can't remember how many I actually bought. But I've bought a couple more. That guy I mentioned it from earlier, who does the really fancy build, said he has 25 total. I couldn't imagine trying to keep all those straight, but that's pretty much what he does with the game. I assume so. I could see wanting, if that's your main thing, and you don't want to have to tear him down. I could imagine like it'd be something you'd want to do. Okay, so we've had a place over here. In fact, I'm going to put a... Oh boy, it's right by the track. Okay. Did I put down a marker? Yeah, let's move the marker over there. And rather than waste all the oil that I've saved up here, let's go ahead and fast travel over there, and I'll empty that out. So in this particular camp is just a vending machine, which I can load up here in a minute. Some water, place to do some cooking and crafting. Come on, there we go. All the basics. And the main thing I'm here for is just emptying this out. We got the oil pump in here. It never accumulates more than 5 at a time. Takes a while for it to save that up. So yeah, oil and springs both, depending on what kind of things you're doing. Like, it's possible to play the game in a way where you really don't need them much. I need both of them because of the kinds of ammo that I've chosen to use. I've chosen to kind of make my main thing. But this camp is about to go away forever. Not going to save it. I don't want to buy another slot. And I want to switch from gathering oil to junk. So I don't think... Yeah, it's not going to let me. Train yard. Yeah, we'll do this. So areas that you own. Like if you've set up one of those temporary tents, or you have a workshop or one of your camps, those are all free to travel to. So it can be kind of handy to avoid spending all your caps on travel, to have your camp set up spread out a little bit so that you can kind of, you won't be able to get exactly everywhere you want, but you can kind of get close. And I have to say, the workshops like this one, they have a pretty big build budget. The build budget that's in your camp is not huge. Again, they've increased it since the initial release. They used to be tiny, which was, again, really, really frustrating. Workshops are, though, they're even bigger. So, of course, the downside being they're also completely temporary. Like, whatever you build there is just going to go away when you quit the game. Which is a pretty big trade-off. But depending on what you're doing, if you use blueprinting and that kind of thing, then sometimes that can pay off too. Where you blueprint certain areas of your camp. Oops, went too far. I wonder if I can get both. Probably not. No. So I was talking earlier about different play modes and how they used to have a PvP mode, and then they got rid of it, and then they used to have another PvP mode, and they got rid of that one too. Oh yeah, that's way too far away to actually use from here. They do have other game modes still. I can't see them from here. I have to exit out of the game to be able to see the menu. But they have things like, and again, the extra game modes, some of them are public and free. So they will cycle through things like, hey, we have a special world. It doesn't count for your story progress. It's a temporary thing, but we've set up a world where you can build bigger camps with fewer restrictions, or we've set up a world with harder enemies, or less fall damage, or, you name it. They've got a bunch of different parameters that you can vary. Those can be kind of fun. For the people who buy the subscription, yet another thing that you get. Let me check something here real quick. Got that. And yeah, I'm pretty much out of all the stuff that was giving me any benefit. So, because of my mutations, I can't actually eat meat. So I can't do the mutant hound chops. Looks like all of my soup that I was saving went bad. Some certain items spoil, so like if you look at Radtoad leg, like that thing's about to go bad. Oh, and I'm all alone now. Real quick, let me see if there's another casual team. Yep, there's one. It's good if you can to stay on a team where you've got other folks with you, because again, this way you get more of the benefits from actually being on a team. And, for people who are actually social, unlike me, they you can meet people and whatnot. But a lot of people I've seen, in fact, it seems to be more the norm, at least for the casual teams, that it'll be kind of like this. You'll just kind of group up temporarily for a session, not even a full session. Like, people kind of come and go a lot. And sometimes you kind of get to know another. Most of the time you don't. It's just a temporary alliance sort of a thing. All right, well, let's go ahead and, not that. So this is setting up a camp. I'm really paranoid, so I'm going to double check and make sure the current camp that I have enabled is the oil shack. Well, that's kind of weird. They just had that event not too long ago. Huh, go figure. But anyway, so that's the one I have currently selected. That's the one that when I put down a new camp here, it's going to replace that one. And let's see if there's anything else I want to kind of... I only get to build on everything out to that green boundary. So when you're setting it down for the first time, you kind of want to make sure that you've got it placed where... Why are you going up in the air? Come on, back down. There we go. You want to make sure you've got it set up so that you're covering all the area that you actually want to build on. Like for me, I'm kind of thinking that being able to build on the road will be kind of fun. Maybe. I need to include that junk pile and maybe a little bit of room for a power supply. Let's just go ahead and put it there. Are you sure you want to place your camp? Oil shack. So this will destroy that other camp and put this here. Say yes. There we go. Notice that it costs a few taps. But now I can go into that build mode here. And very first thing we're going to do is plop that on there. I'm going to use the same kind of generator I used at the other place, where they're quiet They generate enough power. They aren't that expensive to rebuild if you need to. They get the job done. So this is the main reason for being here, is just having this thing that I can just leave running and come back every once in a while and see what it dug up out of the ground. And sometimes that'll include springs. Lock it up because I don't want people to be able to come by and get in there and steal my stuff. And that's about it. So I need to build a little sort of a shack so that I have someplace to sleep and whatnot. When I'm done with the game. You don't actually need to sleep in the game. You get benefits from it. And again, it gives you a little bit of an experience boost. It can have some health effects. I think it can, actually. It used to in 4. I actually haven't paid close attention to what it does here. So let's do a really simple little build. Get some floors. We'll put down a concrete foundation. Why don't we actually can build up on the bridge, right? Let's go up there. Actually, sorry, keep changing my mind here. Some of these you can embed them. It's kind of a glitch, but you can embed them in the floor, which is kind of handy because it just makes it easier to hide them then. Yeah, like that. And we'll just put some kind of cheap walls up around that. We'll make it look a little bit like a shack. Lots of different... So you don't get all these at the beginning. You have to find plans for all these. And some of them are things that you can only get through doing the seasonal goals. Some of them are things that you have to buy in the shop. The one I'm using here is one of the ones that you can find for free in the game if you look around enough. In fact, you tend to find this one pretty often, really. That's probably good enough right there, right? Yeah. Reason for this is really just to keep, enemies off it as much as possible. Look at that, we even have the solar panels sticking up through the roof. Nice. And I don't think I need that either. Let's take that wall and flip it, though. Nope, we don't. Nope. There we go. Better. And we'll leave that there, though, and put down some concrete steps. Change that into a door. And put a door on there. And we've locked the machine inside, but I'm also going to lock the door in the building. Okay, so certain things that you build for your camp for defense, you can only do with more advanced home building skills. So there's a card for that you can get and build up. These things take oil. Hopefully I have enough to actually build these. And these I used to not bother with at all because in early versions of the game they were so buggy that they would start to fight. They would basically, one of them would start trying to attack all the others, which would in turn turn it into an enemy as far as all the other, basically they get into a big, like, one of them would throw a fit and then they'd all destroy one another. Haven't seen that happen for a while. I think they may have actually fixed that. So this is just to keep vermin off the thing, basically, and let it do its job. So now I'll go up and do a simple little sort of a one-room deal. And I'm not even going to build any of the usual crafting benches up here. I'm going to see what kind of floor I can put down. Like, I've not tried building on the bridge for a long time, on bridges like this. Maybe ever? Yeah, it might not let me actually lay that down. So what if I bring that over here? Get it in just the right spot. And now I can. Not exactly sure how I want to shape the thing. Really, let's try again. We'll keep it kind of minimal. So use this as the entrance. We'll just have a little hallway in here that... let's go back and do some slanted walls. That delay that you see whenever I build something is kind of a consequence of the fact that it is multiplayer. Basically, it's trying to do server syncs every time you put something down. So it has to save the state on the server. So it goes slow. Oh, not going to let me build. Outside the build area. How am I outside the build area there? You're telling me I can't even put a roof on that, maybe? Oh, that stinks. Really? That's unusual. There are certain areas where, like, if you look at one of my other camps, it has a staircase in it that goes 4 or 5 stories. But there are kind of arbitrary ceilings on where you can build things. This is not going to do what I wanted it to, because the ceiling here is ridiculously low. I'm not sure why it's that low, but we'll take this down. We'll just do something a little simpler down below. No big deal. Didn't have my heart set on it anyway, so let's go down here. And instead, build sort of a toll bridge. I'm going to try and do this just by eyeballing it. Oh, that's outside the building. Some toll bridge. Then just walk down, go around the end there. That's okay. Again, second thoughts. Totally making this up as I go. Where can I... Let's see, did I put one there? That might work. Put another block there. Good. Kind of like that. Oh, can even put one under the bridge foundation there. Maybe. I saw it. It was green for a second. I don't know if it's going to actually let me do it, though. No, not out there. There. Go. Got it. Okay. So all I wanted to do here really is create this sort of a foundation. I can put the vending machine on that. And then down here on the end... Oh, there's a little bit kind of poking out there. Let's do this. You have these weird kind of special purpose angle blocks. Oh, you're not going to let me attach that to... Oh, really? Really? You finicky thing. Picky. All I'm trying to do, really, is get this thing down into the earth so that it doesn't look like it's floating there. Yeah, that'll do. That's fine. It's weird looking, but again, I'm as usual, I'm overthinking this big time. Alright, so these are vault doors. We've got the atrium and the lobby and the silo. Atrium. Is it really the atrium? Is that the one I want? I don't know. We'll find out. The vaults are special building spaces that, again, they're for sale, just like a lot of things in the game. What they let you do is when you go into one of them, you have this totally separate kind of a themed building space. Okay, so this is the atrium. This is not the one I want because it's kind of... This is an experimental build. You notice I've got, like, the stuff on the walls is because sometimes they set up goals where all you're doing is they're like, yeah, put 5 things on the wall in some camp. It's like, oh, fine, okay, yeah, I can put up some posters. But it's just accumulated junk over time. So let's head back out. Put up a different door. It's your own personal Narnia here. Just pop up a wardrobe door and you're off to the races. Which would actually be really cool. I kind of wish they actually had something like that, but no. That is the wrong game. That would be a fantasy-themed game. And that one, checking again, was Atrium. Let's see. Nope, not the foundation. The door. There we go. So it's not the Atrium that I want. I always forget which one is named what. The lobby? That doesn't feel right either, honestly. But I'm going to go ahead and put it up. Sandy Vault. Let's just wave high. Notice that when I gesture here, even though I'm gesturing locally, it also shows up in the little team section there down at the bottom. Check that out again. Yeah, this is it. Which again, the fact that, so there are far fewer building restrictions in the vaults. So you notice I've actually planted a bunch of trees in a vault. Makes for kind of a, I think it looks kind of neat. You got the lampposts and whatnot. Again, I didn't intend that as part of the Narnia theme or the Narnia comment, but there you go. And so here, this makes it kind of handy because this way I can have a bunch of workbenches set up, do it one time. I've actually even got a little house over here that has other stuff where when it's time to shut down for the day, I can go in here and I've set up a bedroom for the character where I can have a rest. There's a stove for cooking. It's just kind of a nice little place, right? If you actually look up here, they've set it up so that it looks like you are in a... You can actually see a few plants and sunlight shadows and that kind of thing. So they kind of create the effect that you're actually just underground. It's kind of fun. Okay. And like I said, I'm actually going to be done here pretty quick. I think I'll go put out the vending machine, just get a few basics set up there, and then we'll call it good. I was up till, yeah, it's almost 3 in the morning. Oh my gosh. I haven't written today. I have a personal goal. I have to write every single day, 7 days a week. I don't have to write a lot. I just have, it keeps me writing. Make sure that I don't just leave the work aside. But I've not done that today yet, so I've got to head out and get some of that done here too. So let's do a few more quick build things. It's not gonna, oh, there we go. That way, whichever side you're coming from, you can actually get up there. Totally weird looking, but, maybe it'll be eye-catching too. You never know. Okay, and we will need another, not a power connector, but another generator there. That works. Go to the vendors, and yeah, that works. That's fine. Come on, there we go. Set that up. Go to lights. Where are lights? So many menus they have on this thing now. Put up our open sign. It's not close enough to that to work, so put a power connector. There we go. And any other lights or anything? I want to make sure people actually see this. Sure, why not? I'm not sure how well this will show up, but we'll try. And maybe when it's dark. Yeah, good enough. And what's another good one? Let's see. Can I put that up on top? There we go. Put a little motion in there. Again, try to draw people's eye over this way. And the last ones. Put some color changing lights down there. Can't miss it now. Okay. Alright, so I've got a vault door, so I can get in somewhere. There we go. So I can get into my vault, and that's where I can actually, that's where my workbenches and all that are set up. Let's actually put a light down here too, just again, so that people know it's here. You can lock the door to your shelters, but like in this case, I'm encouraging, I'm leaving it open so that, if people come by and they actually need to use a crafting bench or something, they can go ahead and do that. I don't want to put it on there, I don't think. Really? You're gonna be fussy. You're not gonna, okay, we'll put it right there. And again, not enough power. So could run a line from there over to here instead. Just gonna put another one of those towers here. Not really a tower, is it? You know what I mean. Hello. Nice and friendly looking. I don't know what this means, but we'll try. Alright, and then one more. Should have just put one of those down. If that doesn't get your attention, I don't know what will. Okay. People can buy things. I've got junk collecting. Let's go see if we've got anything yet. And I am over encumbered for some reason. Oh yeah, look at that. One loose spring. Oh well, I'll take it. Alright. We'll head into the vault and call it a day. Didn't get nearly as much, which is pretty typical. I was going to say didn't get nearly as much done as I had expected. Things in this game were pretty time consuming, frankly. Scrap some weapons. Store the supplies. You notice that there are multiple levels of locks there too. And that's about it. So hopefully some of that was useful and or interesting for folks. Warrior Torps? Warrior Tours. Sorry. Warrior Torp. It was really fun talking to you. I feel, here's the thing. In visiting your stream last night, enjoyed the discussion slash debate that we were having there more than I have that kind of discussion in a long time. It's one of those things where you don't always necessarily move the needle on your own opinion or even on other people's opinions. But like I said last night, it kind of holds you accountable in a way that it makes you like examine, what am I really saying? What's going on here? Like, where did I hear about that? Where was that verse? Where was that? Let me go and make sure, like, next time I have this conversation, I want to have all this stuff ready. So I really enjoyed it. I typically don't have those kinds of discussions here. Like, I end up talking a lot about random stuff or Fallout 76 or whatever. So it really got me thinking about, like, what do I want to do with the channel? How could I be inviting in the same way that, or at least in a similar way to you are on your own channel? But I guess part of that is to say again that just how much I actually really did enjoy visiting your stream last night. It was really good. It was well worth staying up till 5 a.m. to hang out and chat, and so I think I slept from about 5:30 or 6 until about 8:30 this morning. So I crashed pretty hard later in the afternoon. Totally worth it though. Alright, let's take off home defense, put on dodgy, fix that again, get rid of, oh look, someone else is sharing a bloody mess. Bloody mess is the one that you may have noticed that when I shoot things, they tend to, like, their arms and head and legs pop off and there's a lot of blood and stuff. That's not really why I have the card. Like, it adds gore. It also just adds damage. It means that you do 15% more damage. Okay. I don't know if I have anything naturally cooked, frankly. No, I am starving here and I'm out of stuff. Uh-oh. Let's see. Nothing totally terrible happens if when you run out, like, okay, fine, I can have some snack cakes. Not going to cut it for the long haul. Let's head back out here briefly. It will start doing damage. Like, it'll start hurting your character after a while. Yeah, I guess I could... Ooh, those are spoiling really fast. That's unfortunate. I'm a little worried about that because those things are kind of hard to make. They require a lot of different supplies. Oh yeah, so there's someone at the vending machine. Awesome. And I will just wait a minute while they do their shopping and let them keep putting nickels in the jar, so to speak. Cool. Maybe a little bit helps. Alright, so that's already off. That's fine. Everything else is good. Off to bed. Alright, thanks again for visiting the stream, for hanging out. It was fun chatting. Like I said, I hope you got something enjoyable or even useful out of it. Take care. God bless. And I hope to see you again soon. So I tend to stream once a week on Fridays, usually kind of late in the day. Today was a little different. My schedule shifting. I will probably start streaming earlier on some Friday. It'll be sometime in the day on Friday. And then since they're getting ready to start a new season in the game, I will probably stream for a little bit on possibly this Tuesday, maybe the Tuesday after that. Depends on the official release date for the new season. Just to start going through some of the new content. So, but yeah, take care. And I hope to see you again soon. Bye-bye.